Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of Business Live. Coming up, President Akufo-Addo promises to establish 1,000-ton capacity warehouse for each of the 216 districts in the country as he officially launches the Planting for Food and Jobs initiative at Goso in Abono-Ahafo region. Meanwhile, Managing Director of HFC Bank pledges financial support for the Planting for Food and Jobs policy, saying it would greatly reduce overdependence on imports. Also tonight, Minister for Aviation reiterates government's commitment to establishing a new national carrier. My name is Darryl Kwal. Thanks for joining us. The details in a moment. Thanks for staying with us. Also coming up tonight, we're bringing you the Joy Business Van, a spotlight on the professional cleaning industry in the country. First, so the president has promised a 1,000-ton capacity warehouse for each of the 216 districts in the country. This is to ensure that the level of post-harvest losses, a major challenge to farmers, is reduced drastically, if not eliminated. He revealed this at the official launch of government's Planting for Food and Jobs project in Goso in Abono-Ahafo region, where a pilot project is to be conducted. The initiative is also expected to provide some 75,000 jobs.
I assure you that all the necessary measures have been put in place to guarantee the success of the program. To ensure that fertilizer is readily available to the farmer at affordable prices, government has reduced the prices of fertilizer by 50%. Government intends to construct a 1,000 metric ton capacity warehouse in each of the 216 districts. The purpose of these warehouses would be to handle produce, as well as to store the anticipated surpluses under the Planting for Foods and Jobs campaign. In the Asian experience, the existence of a relatively extensive road network that carries fertilizer and other inputs to the farms and carries farm output to the markets has set them apart from us in Ghana. Ghana government will also expand the feeder road and farm track networks to mitigate post-harvest losses and also ensure foodstuffs are available to customers. Ladies and gentlemen, Nananom, agriculture remains the fuel that powers all our activity in Ghana. We ignore it at our risk.
The Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Fiakutu, said the project will deliver improved seeds, extension services, and fertilizer subsidy to farmers. He also encouraged private organizations to go into farming in order to benefit significantly from the project.
This year, the campaign will be focused on a selected target group of up to 200,000 farmers in all 216 districts of the country. The number will be increased steadily to reach at least half of the farming population of some 5 million farmers by the year 2020. The implementation is anchored on 5 pillars. 1, the provision of improved seeds. 2, supply of fertilizers. 3, provision of dedicated extension services. 4, marketing arrangement to ensure zero post-harvest losses. And 5, an electronic platform to capture and monitor the activities of the participating farmers.
All right, so my colleague Ebenezer Sabute is with an investment banker, Delagbo, CEO of investment firm Echo Capital, to explore what best ways that investors can be attracted to this exploit, this very important venture. He joins me right now. Eben, handing it over to you. A little difficulty connecting with Aben there. You're watching Business Live. We are taking a short break. We'll be right back. You're watching Business Live. Now, HFC Bank has pledged its support for the Planting for Food and Jobs policy that was launched today by the President. The program, as we've been telling you, seeks to create employment for about 1,200 agricultural extension officers and also farmers, and is aimed at improving agricultural production in Ghana. In an interview with Joy Business, the Managing Director of HFC Bank, Robert Lehunt, lauded the policy and said it would reduce the country's overdependence on food imports.
And you know, I think agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture is again a person that I believe is eminently qualified for the job, and I think he has had a lot of great policies. I've had a number of one-on-one conversations with him, and I know he's really committed to agriculture. So again, I think the idea of any policy geared towards a country better able to feed itself, or initiatives in that regard, is one that I support. I think there's Ghana has a lot of arable spare land, and there are a number of initiatives in that area that could go to a long way in helping us to reduce our import bill. So again, initiatives in agriculture is something that I think wasn't given the level of focus before. And I again feel that that is a good initiative.
Okay. Are we seeing HFC Bank doing something in agriculture this year?
Well, HFC Bank, I wouldn't say that's not our focus, because HFC Bank was a bank that got its origins in housing, and we continue to focus on housing, but we are a universal bank like everything else. So our focus is very broad-based. It's in oil and gas financing, and it's also in agriculture. You must remember that HFC Bank in the Western Corridor is one of the only universal banks, so we have the widest distribution of branches in the Western Corridor.
So, Planting for Food and Jobs program, very great initiative. How can investors exploit the opportunities in there? I'm joined by Aben, who is with an investment banker, Delagbo. He's CEO of investment firm Echo Capital. Aben, let's just hope that technology will be friendly with us. I think I can see you there. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yeah, that's fine, Darryl. Yes, it's true. We are here with Delagbo, who is the CEO of Echo Capital. As an investment firm, we'll be picking his thoughts on some of the investment that are going to the agriculture sector. Mostly, we see agriculture as a very risky area, and we would like to find out from him what he makes of the initiative by government to put in 500 million Ghana into the sector. So we go straight to Delagbo. Hi, welcome to Business Live.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Welcome to Business Live.
Thank you.
So first of all, tell us what you make of this whole initiative by government.
It's a very good one. We all need to commend the government for taking such a bold initiative. It's a very good one. I'm very happy about it because it doesn't make sense that we should be in Ghana and still be importing food.
Do you think it's an investment, that such an investment it's worth it as an investment banker?
Yes, it's worth it, but we just have to look at it in terms of implementation. How will that 500 million be implemented? Will they give it directly to the farmers who handle it, who manage it? That's what we have to look at.
How do you want it to be distributed? Any suggestion?
I would have thought that, or from my point of view, I will probably want to say that such an amount should have given to or assigned to some investment firms to create an investment fund, agriculture fund, which government can equally assign a benchmark to these investment firms so that they will be able to make sure that they beat the investments, the benchmark assigned to that. So if that is done, it will actually enable the investment firms in question to actually make sure that the money is actually invested right. They make sure that they've done their risk assessments right, and also be able to match the duration as well.
Talking about investment firms, as you said, yeah, it's good. But are we not going to have the same case like the Agri-Development Bank, the NIBs, which their focus were to support agriculture, but today we can all see what they are doing, something else. Are we not going to have such situation when the money goes to investment firms?
You see, the examples you gave, those are entirely different, because the ADBs and the ones that you mentioned, they're all banks. But when I mention investment firms, I'm talking about investment firms like Eco Capital Investment Management and others that are licensed by Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, we have the capacity to create funds. In fact, as I speak to you, Eco Capital has agro-business fund. But the issue we usually have is the source of funds.
Okay, you're watching Business Live. Unfortunately, technology not friendly tonight. Well, we are taking you all the way to the U.S., Washington, D.C. to be specific. Well, we're hearing that the country will end the year without making any significant progress in reducing its debt-to-GDP ratio. That's the conclusion one may draw after going through the IMF's fiscal monitor report released on sidelines of the annual meetings in Washington, D.C. George is there for us. What more can you tell us, George?
They are saying that it's basically due to the fact that even though they admit that government is putting in place.
We'll certainly fix that, and we'll go back to George. You're watching Business Live. I believe that we can do some other stories tonight. And the Minister for Aviation has reiterated government's commitment to establishing a new national carrier. This falls in line with government's moves to develop Ghana's aviation industry as a key sector of the economy. Now, speaking at the International Air Travel Association Day celebration, the Minister for Aviation, Cecilia Abna-Dapar, said discussions are underway to make this a reality.
As part of efforts to make Ghana an aviation hub, government has established an aviation ministry and implemented some tax cuts in the sector to make achievement of this objective a reality. Yet to be realized, however, is a national carrier. Speaking at the International Air Transport Association Day, the sector minister Cecilia Dapar said government is working keenly to make it a reality.
Our vision is to establish once again a national carrier to fly the flag of Ghana with great pride. And here I must say we once again want to establish, because we have failed twice. We can't fail a third time. We wish to compete favorably with other airlines and also collaborate with them in the connectivity business. This will be achieved through a careful selection of a strategic investor who would partner government. We want to enjoy the boom that will come as a result of the 20-year projection by our experts.
The International Air Transport Association Day brought together various stakeholders in the aviation sector to forge ways to enhance Africa's aviation industry. On his part, the Vice President of IATA, Raphael Kuchi, called for more private sector participation in the establishment of a national carrier.
You don't set up an airline and immediately expect profit. Okay? As IATA, what we have always advocated is that governments should, as much as possible, try to stay away from getting involved in running airlines. The role of government is to create the enabling environment, create the right environment, and allow private sector to drive the aviation business. That is where successful airlines all around the world are. Someone will argue that, yeah, but we know Ethiopian Airlines is government-owned, but it's successful. That is true, but that is an exception rather than the rule. Okay? Everywhere, because it is capital intensive, because it the profit margins are very slim, you really require a certain level of efficiency for airlines to make money. And so whilst Ghana would want to start an airline, it was reassuring from the minister that government participation would be very minimal. So that is very comforting.
This year's International Air Transport Association Day is under the theme Aviation, a Catalyst for Socio-Economic Development.
And as we've been telling you, the IMF is forecasting a 71% debt to GDP ratio for the country this year. Hopefully we can speak to George this time via Skype. George, you're making a point.
Well, Dara, when you listen to the National Fund, the argument is that we haven't seen, or we are not going to see that significant reduction in the debt to GDP ratio for end of year, because whatever policies that government is implementing, indeed, it might take a while before we see the result. That is why if we try to do a comparison, that is what we achieved last year in terms of that 72% that recorded to this year. We are seeing that significant reduction in the debt to GDP ratio. But it's interesting, Dara, because if you look at the numbers again, fast forward to 2018, it is reducing by almost 66%. And the fund is arguing that shows that when these policies are well targeted, we'll get the results that we are looking forward to. And therefore, when you look at 2018, the debt to GDP ratio is actually going to reduce to about 66%. And that is good news, because then it would have implications on the interest payment. It will also have implications on our expenditure, and also convince donors that government is committed to stabilizing the economy.
Okay, George, a quick one. We also know that government is, or government's delegation is supposed to engage the IMF on extension of the program. Any new information we are gathering?
Well, I can tell you that the team from London, as part of their non-deal roadshow, just touched down a few hours. So it looks like the preparatory ground has been made, and therefore maybe tomorrow we'll see those engagements start with respect to the extension, or to work towards the April deadline for this whole program. So as we speak right now, nothing has been firmed up on this whole program or Ghana's program with the IMF, whether it would be extended or we are still going to complete it at April 2018. There.
All right, George Yafe, live for us from Washington, D.C., where the IMF spring meetings is underway. We are taking a short break. We'll be back with the Joy Business Van.
Business Live today.
Welcome back. Now, 10 years ago, two friends decided to bring innovation to the professional cleaning industry in Ghana. They set up Sparkling Company Limited to offer professional cleaning services. They aim to set a standard in an industry which is not as regulated as compared with other parts of the world. But what is so unique about what they do? The Joy Business Van headed for the Spintex Road, where the company operates from. You can find them anywhere: the financial services industry, major manufacturing firms, health and educational institutions offering professional services they believe they are best in. Sparkling Company Limited was founded 10 years ago by two businessmen, William Okranche and Obed Owusukisi. They had two main objectives: to meet the need for professional cleaners, which was lacking at the time, and to create jobs.
Because personally I was running big businesses, multinationals, I thought a cleaning services company is going to be very simple, basic. Get a broom and a mop bucket and that's it. Yeah, so I thought it was a very simple business, but as we began the operation, then I saw it's very complex.
Sparkling started off with 4 workers. The challenge at the beginning was getting professional cleaners. Co-founder Obed Owusukisi and managing director Diana Owusukisi decided to put their corporate jobs on hold and take up a course in professional cleaning.
Yeah, when it comes to cleaning, it's not just taking a broom and a mop and any chemical. There is a chemistry behind cleaning. So you have to know even your pH skill. Because all soils we know are either alkaline or acidic. And depending on what kind of soil you're going to clean, you have to know what chemical. The chemicals are either alkaline or acidic, or they run through the periodic table. So you have to know the chemistry behind the cleaning and know which chemical will work for this kind of soil. So that makes it professional.
At the time Sparkling began operations, there were not many professional cleaning companies, and operating in an industry which is not regulated meant they had to strive to be ahead of others in terms of standards.
The drive to get it professional is strong. Not just at a very top level, but it runs through. Get it done right. So that drive is there. She actually has an award for the best or the employee who is able to come with the innovation. Each year win an award. So all employees are being encouraged to find out something new, come out with something new in the industry. So that drive keeps us going.
Sparkling has created jobs for about 500 people and offers custodial services to top institutions and companies in Ghana. Being an expensive business to manage, what strategy does Sparkling use to sustain the business?
You have to make sure you don't overprice or price yourself out of the competition. So most of the time you may even take businesses that you just break even just to make a point. And then when maybe they see the quality of your work, we have had instances like that where we even decided to even opt out because it wasn't profitable, but the client says no, then they ask something. So profitability, I would say, is not a loss, but don't expect big margins because the job is labor intensive. So more than 50% of the revenue goes to paying for the labor.
Sparkling wants to take professional cleaning in Ghana to another level and has now branched into manufacturing its own chemicals for cleaning, with plans to establish a professional cleaning school.
We want to work with GES to get certification, to train, because cleaning is everywhere. Custodial management is everywhere. Once you have put up a building, you have to take custody, you have to maintain it. Cleaning is just the beginning of the maintenance. There are many other things. So we are going to have that school running and with certification from GES real soon.
Sparkling Company Limited has also incorporated project management and facility maintenance into its services, and co-founder Obedowu Kisi has some advice for those who dreams of starting their own businesses.
Advice number one, start. There are too many dreams in people's mind. People are thinking, just start. And once you start, it's just like riding a bike. If you start and move, you keep moving. If you stop, you fall down. So just start it and be determined to move it. And the challenges will always be there. Some foreseen, some unforeseen. When they come, just deal with it one after the other.
Great piece of advice. You can watch a rerun of the Joy Business Van tomorrow on the marketplace. For now, here is your busy bits.
If you're working in a network environment, you may have noticed that you can print to any one of a number of printers in your building. You may have also noticed that your default printer isn't always the one you would like. Here are the directions for changing your printer in Windows XP. Go to the Start menu and select Settings, and then select Printers and Faxes. A list of all printers you could possibly use is then displayed. The one with the black and white check mark next to it is your current default printer. If you'd like to change it, right-click on the printer you would like to set as your new default printer and select Set as default printer from the list.
Joy Business Van.
Thanks for making time to watch. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwao. We'll be back same time tomorrow.